What's up guys, my name is Fran and welcome back to the channel. So today we are back at the computer and that's because I wanted to show you guys a piece of technology that while it isn't new to the actual market, is new to me and my workflow. So it's a small piece of technology that's small but mighty, small but powerful, small but really fast. It is the Samsung Portable SSD T5. So yeah, the Samsung Portable SSD T5. Now, like I said, this isn't a new piece of technology. This is actually something that's been out for the last couple of years. Previously, they came out with the T3 version, and then more recently, they came out with the T5 version. By recently, I mean in the last couple of years. So if you're not familiar with Samsung, they're a chip manufacturer. They make refrigerators, they make smartphones, etc., etc., and they also make some of the best memory you can find anywhere. So if you're looking for any type of fast, reliable 3D NAND SSDs, you're going to look in the direction of Samsung, like the 950 Pro, the 960 Pro, the 970 Pro, M.2 versions, as well as their 850 Evo and Pro series. They're just some of the best drives you can find for any type of system build, whether it be a workstation, gaming station, etc. So with the reputation that Samsung has for memory, of course, when I was looking for an external SSD that needed to check off a couple of boxes, I decided to look towards Samsung. So in particular, I wanted an SSD that I'd be able to edit directly off of, as well as store any type of files, do fast file transfers, and everything in between. So while looking around the internet, reading a couple reviews, I wanted something that was going to be affordable that also offered a pretty decent amount of storage for the price tag. So I ended up paying $199 for this 1 terabyte portable SSD. Now, while that might be a little bit overpriced compared to something of a mechanical drive, once in a few minutes when we do a bunch of our tests, you'll actually see why it does cost a little bit more money. Okay, so before we jump into the stress test and the testing of this particular drive, let's talk about the specs, because they technically kind of matter. So this is the 1 terabyte variation of the drive. Now, the only reason why I mention that is because notoriously, at least in the past, depending on the drive capacity, sometimes you've actually seen faster drives in higher capacities. For whatever reason that is, we've seen it in the iPhone, we've seen it in other devices, so I did want to mention that this is a 1 terabyte drive. This is also a USB-C and not a Thunderbolt 3 connector. Now, USB-C is still great. It does offer up to 10 gigabits per second when it comes to transfer speeds, whether it be in and out. It also is versatile between a USB-C / Thunderbolt 3 connector, depending on the device you're using, as well as USB-A. So it is a little bit versatile depending on the cable you actually decide to use. So when I first picked up this drive, I asked a question to myself: why is it only USB 3.1 and not Thunderbolt 3? Now, there's a reason for that, and that is actually the Apple tax. Now, Thunderbolt 3 is much faster than USB 3.1, so it's going to offer 40 gigabits per second versus USB 3.1's 10 gigabits per second. It also has continuous data throughput instead of the burst throughput that you're going to see with USB-C. So yeah, it may boast that it does 10 gigabits or 5 gigabits with USB 3.1, but it actually is going to continuously get lower speeds and every once in a while burst up to that 10 gigabits per second. Now, the reason why I said it has to do with Apple tax is if you look at other Thunderbolt devices, you actually notice that they cost considerably more money. I mean, just an enclosure for a Thunderbolt 3 to house an NVMe drive actually costs about $200. And that is because Thunderbolt technology was actually created between Apple and Intel, and it's sort of a partnership between them, and they do license out the technology to other people, but you do have to end up paying them out some licensing fees. So that's why you're going to see enclosures for USB 3.1 or USB-C actually probably cost anywhere around $40 to $30, while a Thunderbolt 3 enclosure is actually going to cost around $200, $150. So that's just something to keep in mind as to why this is only USB 3.1, because I do think if it was Thunderbolt 3, it'd be much faster than some of the results I've actually seen here in the computer. Okay, so enough of me rambling about the drive and the technology behind it. Let's go ahead and head to the computer and check out some of the performance tests. Okay, so now we are at the computer, and what we're going to actually be doing is just running a bunch of really quick real-life tests. I promise you guys this won't be super long. So what we're going to do first is we're going to actually use the Blackmagic speed test, because that's actually one of my favorites. I'm going to go ahead here and select the Samsung T5 disk, and I'm going to go ahead and select a 1 gigabyte file and start the test. So as you guys can see, we're getting up to 487 megabytes per second for our write speeds and 525 megabytes per second for our read speeds. And that is pretty fantastic for an external SSD. And now switching over to our AJA or Aja speed test, I'm going to go ahead and once again, we're going to be doing an Ultra HD 1 gigabyte file and do a speed test. And as you guys can see here, we're getting a little bit faster speeds, 495 megabytes per second and 537 megabytes per second for our read speeds. That's still pretty fantastic. And just so you guys have somewhat of a benchmark as to how much faster these speeds are than a regular traditional hard drive, this is actually a speed test running on a mechanical hard drive that has a drive inside of it that goes at about 5,400 RPMs. So as you can see for the write speeds, not only does it take way longer to actually start and ramp up, but it's only getting 77 megabytes per second for our writes and 92 megabytes for our reads. All right, and just to give you guys a real-life read-write speed test, so this is actually me copying over my Black Friday shopping guide that I just published to this channel. As you can see, it's a 50 gigabyte file or 50 gigabyte folder, so you can actually know what size the actual disk is. And then here I opened up Activity Monitor so you could see the real rewrite speeds that we're getting according to Mac OS. So here we're getting about 595 megabytes per second when it comes to our I/O off of this particular disk. Okay, so that file transfer has completed, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is open up that project off of the T5 disk. And as you guys can see, it actually loaded up really fast. Now, it does do some initial rendering at the very beginning, which might hinder some things. But once this actual rendering is complete, okay, so now we just let that little part render because that was the only thing that needs to be done. As you guys can see, I can scrub completely through this entire video. I actually have no issues, and I can hit playback super smooth without any type of issues whatsoever. And this is all running directly off of that T5 drive. So that is the Samsung Portable SSD T5. Like I said, it's a small drive that packs quite the punch. It's plenty fast enough for you to do any type of external video editing, do fast file transfers, and you could probably throw a couple of games on here and run it directly off the drive, considering the fact that it pretty much is just as fast as an internal SATA 2.5 drive. This particular drive retails for about $199 for the 1 terabyte version, and for the 500 gigabyte version, it retails for about $99.99. So for me personally, I'm super happy with this drive. It definitely serves a lot of purposes, and I probably will continue to use it until something faster comes out, or maybe the price of some of those NVMe Thunderbolt 3 drives actually comes down. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys have any questions about the Samsung drives or anything at all, do me a favor, leave them down in the comment section below. Also, if you're in these kind of videos and want to see more like it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. Definitely would appreciate it. Once again, guys, my name is Fran. Thanks so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.